The top stories tonight in Y News. As the Omicron variant of concern emerges in different countries, the Department of Health says it is also expecting the variant to appear in the Philippines anytime. The DOH also recommends the return of RT-PCR tests to detect the new variant.
That is why the government has implemented border controls and is planning to bring back the mandatory use of face shields. Metro Manila mayors, meanwhile, wait for experts' advice on its use.
The national vaccination drive of the government kicks off today with an ambitious target to vaccinate 9 million Filipinos in 3 days.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, November 29, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. The new and potentially more contagious COVID-19 variant Omicron, first discovered in South Africa, has now appeared in several other countries. Maeve Yandog will give us the details live. Yes, Maeve.
Harleen, the World Health Organization has listed Omicron as a variant of concern due to an increased risk of reinfection that it poses and potentially high transmissibility. Yesterday, Australia reported 2 cases of the new variant, both people having been fully vaccinated and were asymptomatic upon arrival in Sydney from Southern Africa on Saturday. An Italian was confirmed to have tested positive for the Omicron variant after returning from Mozambique, while the United Kingdom reported 2 cases linked to travel to Southern Africa. In Germany, the new variant was detected in 2 travelers who arrived on a flight from South Africa on November 24. Dutch health authorities also believe that some of the new cases in Netherlands detected among those who flew from South Africa could be of the Omicron variant. Other countries that have reported Omicron variant cases are Israel, Hong Kong, Botswana, Belgium, France, and Canada. According to the WHO, it could take several weeks to identify significant changes in transmissibility, severity, or implications for COVID vaccines, tests, and treatment.
The Technical Advisory Group for Virus Evolution will be meeting regularly about Omicron. It will take days to weeks for some of these studies to be undertaken. It's really important that these studies are done, and they're done comprehensively. As soon as we have more information, we will make that information public. But it's important to know that there's a lot that you can do to keep yourself and your loved ones safe.
Harleen?
Maeve, are there any available information about the symptoms of the Omicron variant and if the current vaccines are effective against it?
Harleen, according to the WHO, so far there's no information which would suggest that the symptoms associated with Omicron are different from the other variants. But a South African doctor has shared that the symptoms she saw from her patients that were different from the other variants were so far mild and could be treated at home. So far, Harleen, overwhelming fatigue was the main symptom seen among the patients who tested positive. Experts also claim that there would be some reduction in effectiveness of current vaccines, but they remain critical to providing a degree of protection. Back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Maeve Yandog, reporting live from Australia.
The Philippine government is not letting its guard down, especially with the newly detected and spreading Omicron COVID-19 variant, which is now classified as a variant of concern. Aiko Miguel will tell us why live. Yes, Aiko, go ahead.
Yes, Diego, according to the Department of Health Epidemiology Director Dr. Althea de Guzman, Omicron may enter the country anytime. The government is ramping up preparations so there will be no resurgence of COVID-19 cases and hospitals will not be overwhelmed.
Dahil nga sa pagdeklara ng Omicron as a variant of concern at nakikita din natin na Ito namang Omicron na to ay papasok hindi galing sa atin, hindi siya lalabas parang intrinsically from the Philippines pero malamang manggagaling sa ibang bansa. Kailangan talaga nating maglagay ng measures para ma-prevent natin, ma-delay natin as long as possible ang pagpasok ng Omicron sa bansa.
Diego, the DOH also mentioned that the government has prepared a four-door strategy. Philippine authorities have been reviewing the protocols whether to strengthen measures and restrict more to prevent and delay the entry of the said variant in the Philippines.
At yan pong mga galing sa banned countries na nauna nang nag-arrive ay ngayon ay tinitrace ng ating BOQ, RESUS, and DILGs para ma-assess sila at ma-test.
The DOH has also recommended to shift back the use of RT-PCR tests to detect the Omicron variant.
There are allegedly some tests that can not detect, kasi meron lang mga specific na mutations unique to Omicron na pwede makita ng certain RT-PCR kits. Ang ating mga positive samples naman ay mapapadala natin sa ating UP Philippine Training Center at doon natin makikita kung sila ay merong Omicron. Much like yung mga kaso na may Alpha, Beta, and Delta, kung meron ka ding Omicron, walang pagbabago sa magiging management sa inyo ng doktor. Walang dagdag na gamot, bagong treatment. Pareho pa rin ang magiging treatment na gagawin sa kanila.
Meanwhile, Diego, Dr. Leguzman says there are not enough bases yet to prove that certain age group will be more vulnerable to the Omicron variant of concern.
Sa ngayon, base sa mga studies, hindi natin na nakikita na mas magiging apektado ang isang age group. Hindi rin natin nakikita na mas magiging severe ang disease, mas magiging mataas ang tsansa ng pagkamatay sa mga kaso na may Omicron variant. Pero dahil nga nakakita tayo ng maraming mutations dito sa variant na to, kaya naman tinataas natin ang pagbabantay at yung ating response.
Diego, the DOH also said it is important to monitor areas with case surge and clusters, and as well as sequence samples to detect the existence of Omicron or detect possible mutations of virus and prevent its spread in the country. The government is on heightened alert versus Omicron as the country is now on its low-risk classification and cases have been continuously declining nationally. And that is the latest live. Back to you, Diego.
Thank you, Aiko Miguel, reporting live from Apalit, Pampanga.
Meanwhile, the government may again require the wearing of face shields amid the threat of the Omicron variant. Metro Manila mayors, meanwhile, have decided to wait for the recommendations of the health experts. Janice Inhente explains why.
Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles has advised the public to wear face shields again if they can due to the threat of the new Omicron variant. Nograles made the statement as the country closed its borders to 14 countries due to the highly mutated variant.
Of course, it is an added layer of protection. So while it is voluntary, syempre, ako personally, I would like to encourage ang ating mga kababayan, kung kaya naman po, magsuot ang face shield, ay magsuot tayo ng face shield.
The Interagency Task Force on COVID-19 response has yet to include in its agenda the possible return of the face shield policy.
Many experts, even from WHO, they believe that even though tayo lang ang gumagamit ng face shield, ako sa paniniwala ko kasi kami ang nag-recommend previously ng face shield at nakita natin na talaga nung ginamit natin face shield, bumagsak yung kaso dito sa Metro Manila.
Meanwhile, Metro Manila mayors will leave it to the experts on the decision to re-implement the face shield policy. However, Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Teodoro urges the IATF to draft unified guidelines.
Marinig natin yung experts' opinion saka yung recommendation from the Department of Health. And we will abide by such recommendation and guidelines to be issued accordingly. At kailangan, kung magpapatupad tayo, hindi kanya-kanyang lugar o LGU na guidelines, kundi kailangan talaga ay isang standard at unified guideline.
Well, it will really depend on the IATF. No, sila magsasabi.
Currently, only people in areas under Alert Level 5 are required to wear face shields. President Duterte, meanwhile, has given local governments and private establishments in places under Alert Level 4 the discretion to keep or scrap the rules. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The government task force against COVID-19 takes into account the looming threat of the Omicron variant in de-escalating the COVID-19 alert level in the country. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte remains optimistic that the country can overcome the pandemic. Rosa Licos will tell us why.
Holiday season is fast approaching and many people are already planning about their get-together with families and friends. However, the new variant of concern, Omicron, may impact the holiday plans. Even the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases takes into consideration the threat of the Omicron variant in further reopening and de-escalating the COVID-19 alert level even in Metro Manila.
Sa ngayon po, fina-finalize pa rin po ng IATF yung mga parameters na gagamitin natin para makapag-de-escalate or makapag-declare po tayo ng localities under Alert Level 1. Sa ngayon po, ay hindi pa namin na isapinal, no, ang mga parameters na yan. So abangan na lang po natin muna.
The palace also appeals to the public not to be complacent and consider safety in their holiday plans.
Huwag po tayong magpakampante, lalo na meron tayong variant of concern, ang Omicron. Nasabi nga ng DOH, hindi ito tanong kung makakapasok ba siya sa bansa. It is really a matter of time. During the holiday season, with restrictions easing, we know many of you plan to see loved ones and friends. So we appeal to everyone to please remain vigilant.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte expressed confidence that the Philippines will be able to defeat the coronavirus pandemic. This despite the threat of Omicron. He made the statement during the kick-off of the Bayanihan Bakunahan program in Masinag, Antipolo, Rizal this afternoon.
With God's abiding grace and with our genuine malasakit for our fellow Filipinos, we will overcome this pandemic and come out stronger and better as a nation.
Meanwhile, the chief executive called on the public to get vaccinated and continue following health protocols such as wearing a face mask, washing of hands, and social distancing to prevent the spread of the virus. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
This just in, Metro Manila will remain under COVID-19 Alert Level 2 until December 15, 2021. This is amid the looming threat of Omicron variant. Apart from the nation's capital, several parts of the country will also be placed under Alert Level 2 from December 1st to 15th, while the province of Apayao will be placed under Alert Level 3.
The Philippines has recorded 665 COVID-19 cases today, the lowest single-day count since July 2020. This brings the country's tally since the onset of the pandemic to 2,832,375. Meanwhile, active infections continue to dip to 16,289. Of these cases, 48.1% are mild, 23.82% are moderate, 15.6% are severe, 6.6% are in critical condition, and 6% have no symptoms. Meanwhile, total recoveries rose to 2,767,585 after 993 more patients recovered from the disease. COVID-related deaths climbed to 48,501 with 141 new fatalities. All accredited testing laboratories in the country were operational on November 27, but 5 laboratories failed to submit data on time, the DOH noted in its report. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has reached 261,519,267. while deaths have surged to 5,199,920, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. is the worst hit country with the world's highest number of cases and deaths at 48,229,273 and 776,639 respectively. In terms of infections, India follows with 34,580,832 cases and 468,790 deaths. In terms of deaths, Brazil comes third with 614,278 fatalities.
The three-day National Vaccination Day started today, which aims to inoculate at least 9 million Filipinos in total. National Task Force Against COVID-19 dubbed the program as most ambitious COVID-19 response since vaccine rollout in the country. JP Nunez will tell us why.
A 3 million vaccination target rate per day during the 3-day National Vaccination Days is the most ambitious program of the government as part of its COVID-19 response, according to National Task Force Against COVID-19. This aims to ramp up vaccination in the country to achieve at least 54 million Filipinos vaccinated with their first dose and fully vaccinate until year-end.
This is by far the biggest vaccination event we have held since we rolled out the National Vaccination Program this year. Inoculating 9 million individuals in 3 days across 16 regions with the help of the NCR is our most ambitious target so far.
As of 4 p.m. today, there are more than 500,000 individuals who received their vaccine shots, which is far from 3 million daily target. However, National Vaccination Operations Center explains that this came up only from around 40,000 of LGUs in the country as there was a delay from provinces with limited connection. Meanwhile, in Metro Manila, employees and pediatrics piled up early in the morning to get their COVID-19 vaccine shots.
Bayad din yung araw namin kahit magpabakaw na kami dito, hindi kami makapasok. Ayos din po, maganda rin po talaga yung ganun. Kaya nagpabakuna na rin ako.
Maganda rin na kahit na hindi kayo pumasok bayad. Ayos din kasi kahit ito pag galing namin dito, di namin papasok talaga eh. Diretso na kami sa bahay. Papahinga na rin kami.
Marikina City allows walk-ins during the National Vaccination Days but they still recommend pre-registration from their online vaccine portal.
Yung mga mga kailangan pa, it's a work in progress eh. Talagang tinitingnan namin yung mga mag-walk-in kung gaano karami at ito yung maaaring maging challenge. Yung mga nag-iisip na mag-walk-in ng susunod na araw, Martes o Miyerkules, pinapakiusapan namin sana mag-pre-register ng a day before dahil ang gagamitin bakuna ay Pfizer, hindi ito per vial eh.
Department of Health Secretary Francisco Duque III says local government units have their discretion to accept walk-ins for the National Vaccination Days. However, they encourage LGUs to accept walk-ins since it is an opportunity to vaccinate more Filipinos.
Well, dapat may sistema ang mga pamahalaan lokal na dapat may master listing. So, kung mag-walk-in sila, dapat we already assume na meron silang listahan na matukoy kung taga saan sila, ano ang kanilang mga profile, ano yung kanilang address, so lahat yan. Hindi naman to para ka namigay lang ng candy, walk-in.
DOH also encourages senior citizens to get COVID-19 vaccines or booster dose during the National Vaccination Days to add protection to their health, especially amid the threat of new Omicron COVID-19 variant. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
70 Health Service and Medical Reserve Force staff from the Philippine National Police were pulled out from their duty stations at a swabbing facility. Leia Inagan will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police has sent 7 vaccination teams composed of 70 police medical personnel to assist the government in its 3-day COVID-19 vaccination drive. 10 PNP medical personnel will be deployed to the Regional Medical and Dental Unit of Police Regional Office 3 in Camp Olivas, Pampanga, while another 10-man team will report to the Camp Vicente Lim in Calamba City. 40 more MRF personnel comprising 4 teams will report to the QCPD or Quezon City Police District Headquarters at Camp Karingal, Quezon City for further deployment to barangays in Quezon City. PNP Chief Police General Junardo Carlos assures the PNP Health Service and the Medical Reserve Force underwent enough training and with experience in COVID vaccination.
The Philippine National Police is fully supportive of this national vaccination drive as the most potent response to the COVID-19 health crisis.
The PNP has a total of 5,530 PNP Medical Reserve Force personnel, 347 of whom are trained vaccinators. Meanwhile, the PNP chief said it is ready to implement the mandatory use of face shields if adopted again by the government.
We will always abide with the IATF at kung yan ay makakatulong para maiwasan yung pagkalat ng nitong COVID-19 virus, we leave it up to the experts.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The House Committee on Ways and Means approved the tax provision of the bill, pushing to exempt senior citizens from value-added tax and granting 10% discount on their monthly water and electricity bills. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
Baguio City Representative Mark Go, one of the authors of the bill, believes that there is an urgent need to help the elderly who are more exposed to various risks and vulnerabilities. He said increasing the discount on monthly utilization of water and electricity supplied to households registered under the name of a senior citizen is indeed essential to mitigate the burden of elderlies. This is also the sentiments of other lawmakers.
Makatulong man lang tayo na mapagaan kahit papaano ang dalahin ng ating mga senior citizens na marami nang sinusuong na pagsubok sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na gastusin, lalong-lalo na sa usapin ng kanilang kalusugan.
The pandemic has put many of our countrymen in financial insecurity. The proposal would most definitely benefit our senior citizen consumers who are mostly only relying on their pensions and the contribution of their children who are still living with them.
Due to this, the House Committee on Ways and Means approved the unnumbered substitute bill to House Bills number 1903 and 3040, which seeks to increase the rate or discount granted to senior citizens on their monthly electric and water consumptions. It will also seek to amend the expanded Senior Citizens Act of 2010. Under the bill, lawmakers are pushing to exempt senior citizens from value-added tax and increase the minimum discount given to them on their monthly water and power bills from 5% to 10%. But the bill further stated that the monthly consumption should not exceed 150 kilowatt hours of electricity and 30 cubic meters of water. The bill still has to be passed on the House plenary and a counterpart measure has to be approved in the Senate before it can be brought to President Rodrigo Duterte for signing. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, has announced the re-implementation of the number coding scheme in the National Capital Region, or NCR, within this week. The coding scheme will be implemented from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. from Monday to Friday except for holidays. MMDA said the scheme will only cover private vehicles.
Meron na ho tayong color coding ngayon. Since napirmahan na, ito ay ipapublish pa namin sa official gazette. So siguro bukas pa namin ipapublish dito. So it will give us time na para paghandaan to ng ating mga kababayan. So siguro we'll give it more or less mga 2 or 3 days for the implementation of this. Kasi mahirap baka magkalituhan ng mga kababayan natin eh.
Formerly Director Lincoln Ong and Corporate Secretary and Treasurer Mohit Dargani have been transferred from Senate custody to the Pasay City Jail. This comes after Senate President Vicente Soto III signed the commitment order for their transfer after the two officials failed to provide the boxes containing Pharmally's financial documents that were being asked by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. The order states that Ong and Dargani will remain under the jail's custody until such time that they will properly answer the committee's questions or submit the documents required by the Senate Blue Ribbon. According to Ong and Dargani's legal counsel, Attorney Don Capunan, the two Pharmally officials will no longer attend the Blue Ribbon proceedings. He adds the Pharmally officials deliberately decided not to reveal the documents, citing the ongoing tax investigation of the Bureau of Internal Revenue.
They have come to that point already na wala na, nothing to lose na sila eh. Kumbaga, this is the worst that could possibly happen to them. So I think it was a conscious effort that they made, as I've said, not to reveal the documents. For us, this will the Senate inquiry, if they're going to focus on the angle of tax evasion, this is just duplicitous eh. My clients are hopeful that if they have the goods on us, so to speak, then they can file the necessary charges. We will answer that in the proper forum. My clients know for a fact that whatever documents that may come out will be used against them. So they are invoking their rights against self-incrimination.
Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chairperson Richard Gordon maintains they decided to transfer Ong and Dargani to Pasay City Jail to preserve and protect the Senate as an institution. He adds the two executives' continuous lying and refusal to answer have crossed the line. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, or BJMP, has assured that there will be no special treatment to the two Pharmally officials. Ong and Dargani will undergo 10 to 14-day quarantine period before they will be assigned to a cell with other inmates.
Pantay-pantay ang pagtrato namin sa aming mga bigyan. Wala kaming preferential treatment, wala kaming special attention na ibibigay sa kanila. At pulisiyan ng BJMP, pantay-pantay para sa lahat. Mayaman ka, mahirap ka, may influensya ka. Pag pumasok ka niya selda, pare-pareho kayo doon.
Mohit's sister, Pharmally President Winkle Dargani, will remain under the Senate's custody. The 16th Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on the alleged anomalous medical supply deals of the government is set on Friday.
The Commission on Elections will discuss with the IETF the process of the nationwide mock elections, which will be conducted on December 29, 2021 in 6 provinces and in NCR. Dante Amento will tell us why.
As part of the preparations for the upcoming 2022 national and local elections, the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, is set to conduct a mock elections before the year ends. COMELEC spokesperson Director James Jimenez says the IATF may provide inputs or make corrections.
To discuss the security preparations for the mock elections. Medyo kasi, malaki yung mock elections eh. The mock elections will involve real voters and real boards of election inspectors. So there's a lot of concern about safety and security.
In Luzon, the mock elections will be in Isabela and Albay provinces. In Visayas region, mock elections will be conducted in Negros Oriental and Leyte, and in Davao del Sur in Mindanao region. Meanwhile, here in National Capital Region, areas included in the mock elections are Pateros and cities of Taguig and Pasay. Maguindanao Province will be the venue for the mock elections in Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BERMM. In total, there will be 34 barangays that will serve as areas for the mock elections, with 4,800 targeted registered voters to participate.
Hindi pa kasi final, so we're just starting to prepare for it, but it will be nationwide. So that means we'll have locations in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Each clustered precinct will accommodate 100 voters except in 2 districts of Pasay City with 800 voters each clustered precinct. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Many social media users are confused as to the reasons why the World Health Organization named the new COVID-19 variant Omicron. Marvi Delphine will tell us the details live. Good evening, Marvi.
Good evening, Elsie. Before the 15th Greek letter Omicron, there are the 2 letters Nu and Xi. The WHO, however, did not provide any prior explanation as to why they skipped the 2 letters. Though they have come forward stating that Nu can cause confusion with the word new, while Xi is used, might offend many as it is a very common last name. The WHO purposely skipped the 2 letters to avoid causing offenses to any specific cultural groups, ensuring they reduce negative effects on nations, economies, and people when it comes to labeling diseases. Meanwhile, the Omicron variant, compared to the Delta variant, remains to have more mutations and has been deemed as a variant of concern. WHO's COVID-19 technical lead, Maria Van Kerkhove, explains.
They have advised WHO that this variant should be classified as a variant of concern. So today we are announcing B11529 as a variant of concern named Omicron. So Omicron B11529 is named as a variant of concern because it has some concerning properties. This variant has a large number of mutations, and some of these mutations have some worrying characteristics.
Elsie?
Marvi, what are the current status of the other variants before the Omicron variant?
Well, Elsie, the other COVID-19 variants which were named after the Greek letters before Omicron have been considered as less serious or former variants of interest. Currently, there are only 4 variants of COVID-19 which are of serious concern, and these include Omicron, alongside Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine, live from Australia. The 22-year-old Ivor Houston arrived in Bondi on Sunday morning after his inspirational 4,000 kilometers walk from Perth to Sydney, Australia. The purpose of his trekking adventure was to raise funds for a volunteer-run refugee center in his hometown in the Blue Mountains. Mr. Houston said his plan to bolster funds for the Blue Mountains Refugee Support Group came to him after a refugee family lived with him 18 months ago. For most of the journey, Ivor lived out of his tent and the essentials he brought with him. He has raised more than $23,000, smashing his initial goal of $20,000. An astrophotographer had exhaustively pieced together 200,000 still shots of the moon and used 3D technology to map each images, revealing the moon's every crevice in incredible details. Ruth Bahe tells us why live. Yes, Ruth?
Elsie, astrophotographers Andrew McCarthy wanted to spark people's interest in the moon and get them excited about exploring the frontiers of humanity and space. The result of his work revealed the moon's rugged face, revealing its every crater, mountain, cave, and crevice, making the moon more accessible to the human eye. The photographer based in Arizona also used height data provided by NASA to show the differences between the lunar sea and the lunar highlands. Although Mr. McCarthy used CGI to blend the images together, he said it was exhausting to say the least and described the work as a beast of a project. The 200-megapixel photo of the moon was first revealed on his Instagram account in February and is continuing to wow hundreds of his followers. Elsie?
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, live from Vietnam. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
All over over the world, Taiwan is one of the countries that has made it fairly well since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Get to know how overseas Filipino workers benefit from Taiwan's COVID-19 response. Amiel Pascual reports.
Did you know that Taiwan is 8 times smaller than the Philippines? Because of this, and the low price, reliable and efficient public transportation, it is easy to visit the famous tourist destinations all over Taiwan. From Taipei to Kaohsiung. Apart from the popular landmarks, Taiwan has become the world's envy on COVID-19 response. Since the onset of the COVID-19 outbreak, with its 23 million total population, it only recorded 16,000 confirmed cases, with 848 total reported deaths as of November 16, 2021. Taiwan's success against the coronavirus disease is greatly attributed to the regulations in force on disease control and prevention through the Central Epidemic Command Center or CECC. Add to this is the compliance and discipline of the Taiwanese people, which President Tsai Ing-wen commended during the National Day Address in October.
这一波疫情中，我们也再度的看到台湾人民的高度自律和素养。不管天气再怎么热，大家总是不忘戴上口罩。不管走到哪里，大家都会自动扫实名制 QR code。疫苗到了，大家按照政府的安排，有秩序的接种。大家的努力，我很感谢。
As a result, the pandemic was not able to affect the way of life of local citizens, as well as foreign residents in Taiwan. Local and foreign workers, including 150,000 Filipinos, are able to continue with their jobs.
Bawat tulong ng Panginoon, nandito kami sa Taiwan, meron kaming hanap buhay, at meron kaming naipapadalang sa aming mga mahal sa buhay sa Pilipinas.
Madali naman po ako nakahanap dito ng bagong employer dahil na rin po sa batas na ipinatupad ng Taiwan na pwede na pong lumipat ng ibang company. Dito naman po sa nalipatan ko ngayon, okay naman po kasi essential naman po yung company na napuntahan ko.
Taiwan's economic growth rate have increased by 3.11% in 2020 amid the pandemic. To further protect the people against COVID-19, foreign workers have also been included in the vaccination priority list.
Dito sa Taiwan, kaming mga foreign workers, kasama rin sa vaccine priority. Actually, ako naka-isang dose na ako eh. Ako, recently na ako. Sa akin, BNT. Akin, BNT.
On November 8, 2021, 74% of the population were already vaccinated with a first dose, while 37% have been fully vaccinated. Apart from vaccines coming from other countries, Taiwan's domestically developed vaccine called Medigen is included among the vaccines to choose from. The government hopes that in the first quarter of 2022, Taiwan will achieve the 80% vaccination rate to reopen its international borders. Amiel Pascual, UNTV News and Rescue, Taiwan. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Wish 1075 and our very own William Theo are now world-class Philippines Hall of Famers. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Before Wish 1075 confers awards to top-performing and most favorite OPM artists at the Wish Music Awards in January, it's time for the FM station to be awarded first.
The most innovative FM broadcasting and media production is none other than Wish FM 107.5.
World Class Philippines on Saturday hailed Wish as one of the Business Awards Hall of Famer and for being the most innovative in FM broadcasting and media production. According to WCP Chairman, Director Wilfredo Lemke Jr., Wish 1075 has been their awardee for over 3 years, hence the award.
Wish FM is one of our world-class Hall of Fame company brand awardees for 2021, as you have been consistent awardees since 2017. Wish FM also has been consistently innovative in your line programs, especially your interesting segments like Wish Buzz, Harana, and many more. Wish FM has been recognized as balanced and holistic in its entertainment approach. Congratulations, Wish FM!
This won't be possible without God's help. And talaga pong nakakataba ng puso na tinanghal ang Wish 1075 na Hall of Famer ng WCP. So maraming salamat po. Dahil po sa mga taong katulad ninyo, mas nai-inspire kaming mas pagbutihin yung ginagawa namin sa Wish 1075. Mas maging innovative.
Meanwhile, Wish FM's very own DJ Janny was conferred with a World-Class Filipino Achiever Award for her achievements in the field of FM and TV broadcasting and event hosting.
On behalf of our, of course, Wish family, we'd like to thank all of our wishers for all the support and love, especially amidst this pandemic. Para sa inyo, actually, ang award na ito, despite all the challenges, nandyan kayo para sa amin. This award right here will definitely propel us even further to keep on using the platform that we have to educate, to raise awareness, and to make an impact most especially. So to God be the glory. Maraming salamat sa Diyos.
And Y News anchor William Theo also received the honor of delivering the event's keynote speech, as well as being included in WPC's Hall of Fame of Filipino Achievers for his success and contributions in news and public affairs and broadcasting. World-Class Philippines recognizes world-class Filipinos and the most resilient companies, brands, and organizations in the country.
Wishers, keep on wishing.
To God be the glory.
Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And before we say goodbye for tonight, we would like to congratulate once again our very own William Theo. May we hear a few words from you, William? The floor is yours.
Yes, Harleen and Diego, and of all of our viewers, of course. It was a nice feeling because it was the first physical event after 2 years of being in a lockdown, and because the keynote speech was about resiliency, professional and business resiliency amid the pandemic. It was nice to be able to share our opinions and our views on how we were able to survive. And basically, thanks to WCP and also to my Y News family, to all of you for making this all possible there.
We are very proud of you, William. And once again, from your Y News family and UNTV family, congratulations and more power to you.
Congrats, William. Really proud of you, boy.
Yes. Thank you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "We then that are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves." And those are the reasons Behind the News, November 29, 2021. I am Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
By the end of 2021, we expect to fully vaccinate a total of 54 million Filipinos. We also aim to inoculate 80% of the population of minors aged 12 to 17 years and complete the booster shots for those belonging to A1, A2, and A3 sectors.
It is an added layer of protection. So while it is voluntary, syempre ako personally, I would like to encourage ang ating mga kababayan, kung kaya naman po magsuot ng face shield, ay magsuot tayo ng face shield.
They have come to that point already na wala na, nothing to lose na sila eh. Kumbaga, this is the worst that could possibly happen to them. So I think it was a conscious effort that they made, as I've said, not to reveal the documents.